Ben somehow received an unexpected payout. It doesn't matter where it comes from, a bonus, an inheritance, or the sale of something unnecessary. $100,000. And at the same moment, he froze. He was faced with a choice that paralyzes almost anyone. Invest everything at once, in one large sum, or stretch the pleasure for a whole year, throwing money in pieces, as gurus with smart faces advise. This moment of paralysis is the moment when rational mathematics gives way to primal fear. The advice Ben had heard from all the well-meaning financial gurus, online forums, and personal finance books was almost unanimous. Dollar cost averaging, DCA, is a safer and smarter choice. They would tell Ben that it eliminates emotional risk, protects against investing just before a crash, and is a smart decision. This advice is repeated so often that it has become a gospel, a convenient mantra that financially anxious people whisper. But I'm here to tell you that this is one of the most mathematically dangerous dogmas in the field of personal finance. My name is Ben, and I spend too much time studying investment data, which proves that common sense often turns out to be just plain complacency. If you're one of those people who is paralyzed by the fear of investing at the wrong time, be sure to click on the subscribe button, because today I'm going to show you amazing historical data that proves that one-time investing, LSI, is on average 70% of the time more profitable than averaging. I'm going to expose the false sense of security that DCA inspires in you and explain why your main enemy is not market volatility, but the opportunity cost of time. Let's look at the main drawback of the DCA mentality. The reason Ben wanted to average the cost in dollars was purely psychological. It's meant to protect ego, not money. Ben was afraid of emotional pain, investing $100,000 today and tomorrow seeing the market collapse by 10%. He needed a guaranteed assurance that he wasn't buying at the peak. DCA acts as a guarantee of financial security. He promises that you will buy at some peaks, but also at some lows, averaging your costs. But this emotional comfort comes at a huge price: the refusal to grow. When Ben chooses DCA, he deliberately puts aside a significant portion of his money, perhaps $90,000 out of the original $100,000, in cash or into a savings account with a meager rate. He's waiting, and every single day, when money is in a waiting state, it is attacked by the only force that no investor can handle: inflation. We just finished discussing the Veblen effect, and you know that accumulating cash destroys wealth over time. The market is a flawed, cruel, and asymmetrical machine, but it is the only machine designed to reliably increase capital faster than the central bank can print new currency. By putting money aside, Ben guaranteed that they would lose this race. This is a psychological tax that we pay for the illusion of control. We think we are reducing the risks, but in reality, we are just exchanging a minor, manageable risk of short-term market fluctuations for a guaranteed reduction in purchasing power in the long term. Historically, the market rises much more often than it falls. If we study the S&P 500 market data for almost a century, we can see that the market ends the year with growth in about 3 out of every 4 cases. When Ben chooses DCA for a 12-month period, he makes a tactical bet that the market will collapse in the near short term. The data shows that in 70% of cases, this bet is a losing one. These are not emotions. This is a pure mathematical fact based on the steady growth of the global economy. Think about it this way: the biggest superpower of Ben's money is his time on the market. This is the engine that drives the compound interest process. When Ben chooses DCA, he intentionally deprives his money of this superpower for 12 months or more. He forces most of his capital to sit back while the market is running out of steam. If the market grows during these 12 months, which usually happens, Ben misses the opportunity to earn the $90,000 that was in cash. The market is not waiting for your comfort level. It rewards participation. The real risk is not investing before the crash. The real risk is the opportunity cost associated with the fact that 70% of the time the market was growing while you were waiting. It's a security trap. You've protected yourself from a small short-term glitch, but you've guaranteed yourself a long-term mathematical lag. Now let's look at one scenario in which DCA really succeeds: the Great Crash. Yes, if Ben invests $100,000 $100 today and the market immediately drops by 30% tomorrow, he will feel very bad, and DCA would soften this blow. This is the 30% risk that paralyzes us all. This is a fear that DCA has successfully eliminated. But we need to scale down and look at the long-term result. In those rare periods when LSI loses to DCA in the first year, research shows an interesting pattern. One-time investments often restore leadership by the 5th year. Why is this happening? Because the money that was invested earlier, even if it fell in value, was generally used to buy more shares. When a recovery inevitably begins, the one-time investor holds a significantly larger market share and benefits more fully from the growth. Imagine that Ben bought a large apartment building right before a temporary local recession. He bought it at the very top, and within a year the price was falling. During this time, the DCA investor bought only a few small rooms in this house, but once the recession ends and rents rise again, Ben, who owns the entire building, earns exponentially more than someone with just a few scattered apartments. The LSI portfolio is designed to benefit from recovery much more effectively. The DCA investor exchanges long-term profits for short-term guarantees. The solution to this dilemma is not a general rule, it's a discipline. Ben must distinguish between money intended for short-term use and money for long-term accumulation. First, you need to understand your time horizon. If the money is needed in less than 5 years, neither LSI nor DCA are suitable. This money must be in cash, protected from the market. However, if money is intended for a purpose in 5, 10, or 20 years, the whole mindset has to change. Ben's duty to this capital is to immediately place it where the highest mathematical odds are in his favor. That is, in the market. Secondly, if the thought of immediate payment causes great concern, you can compromise, but never back down completely. The goal is not psychological perfection, but mathematical excellence. Do not delay investing for more than 12 months. Instead, consider a compromise strategy. Invest 50% of the money immediately. Take the remaining 50% and invest it over the next 2 to 3 months, liquidating the balance according to a preset schedule. This still reflects most of the upward trend of the market, while satisfying the psychological need for caution and reducing the time that capital stays on the sidelines. The greatest myth in the field of personal finance is that there is a safe way to get rich. The market does not encourage security. It rewards participation and discipline. It rewards those who understand that time is their most valuable asset. Every day that Ben waited meant that the market had a 2/3 chance of getting away from him. Ben stopped paying the price for security. He stopped allowing fear to deprive his capital of its main advantage. If you have money that you logically won't need in the next 10 years, your duty is to put it into action immediately and let time do its job. If this video made you think, please like it. Subscribe to Ben to learn more ways to hack the system and create long-term wealth. And Ben went to invest welfare. See you in the next video.